Hey, what's going on, guys? Ryan here giving my WWE Roadblock review. Overall impressions of the show was that it was kind of just okay. It didn't really do a ton to excite me. There certainly were some highlights that were worth seeing, but for the most part, I feel like this is a show that was kind of plagued with screwy finishes and interferences, but not without a few highlights. So I'll run down the card. Pre-show opens with Big Cass versus Rusev. A little disappointing that this ended in a countout. It is a pre-show thing, so the fact that they're continuing it on Monday Night Raw is okay, because normally, we want a pay-per-view to have some sort of definitive conclusion or something like that. But when it's really like doing something on a pay-per-view to make you want to see something on Raw, it seems sort of backwards. But like I said, this was on the pre-show, so it's forgivable. We opened the actual show with my personal match of the night, which was the New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Obviously, as soon as the New Day broke the record, it was like they couldn't wait to rip the tag team titles off of them, which I thought it's kind of sad that they did that so quickly, because it really now feels like that they just wanted to break the record, and now that that's happened, it's like, oh, let's just immediately get rid of the titles and put it on Cesaro and Sheamus. So that's like the one little disappointing thing, but other than that, I thought the match was fantastic. I thought the Cesaro and Sheamus had a very clever way of getting the win, sort of the fake tag that Cesaro did with Sheamus, so that Sheamus could actually get the pin, was really cleverly done. So awesome match, and really the highlight of the pay-per-view for me. Next up, we had Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman in a 10-minute match. I thought this was pretty cool and an interesting way of doing things. Of course, Foley came out teasing that he was going to throw in the towel, but that didn't end up actually happening. Sami Zayn threw the towel out of Mick Foley's hands, and he was able to last the 10 minutes. And there was sort of this big celebration that Sami Zayn won because he did survive, but I don't know. It seemed like it should have been more shown to be like a draw or something like that, but I guess the stipulation was that Sami Zayn just had to survive. Either way, I thought this was fine, and this is the kind of continuation of a feud that I'm okay with, the way that they did this. Next up, Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho. Thought this was a good match. Not a ton to say about it other than it was very solid, and Rollins got the win as expected. So another solid match for the card. Then we had the Cruiserweight match, Rich Swann versus Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins. The match was what it was. It really was hard to stay in it when the crowd, you could literally hear a pin drop. It was very weird to have what's supposed to be these suspenseful submission moments where, is this guy gonna tap or whatever, and it's just completely quiet. So that was kind of weird. But in the end, after Rich Swann was able to retain, Neville comes out and just, tears the house down, just wrecks everybody in his path, and it seemed like the crowd was really excited to see Neville. There was some thank you Neville chants, and this really kind of created a buzz, because this is a guy that people do like, and I think it's cool that he is in the Cruiserweight division. He probably should have been in the beginning, but the way I guess they kind of held Neville back for a few weeks, and now coming out now, he gets this huge pop because we haven't seen him in a while. They actually were kind of clever to make us miss him, and now they're putting him in the Cruiserweight division, and that's a really good thing. They need Neville to kind of help save this Cruiserweight division, because the investment from the WWE universe is just not there right now. Next we had the Iron Man match between Sasha Banks and Charlotte. I thought this was a very good match, and as expected, it was gonna really come down to the wire. I wasn't sure if they were gonna do the sudden death, but I certainly was not ruling it out. So I was not surprised to see when they did go to the sudden death part. The thing I was not too crazy about was the way that they did it. I would have preferred a last minute pinfall from Charlotte, over a submission, because it just seemed unrealistic that when you have 2 seconds left, that if she had hung on that long all that time before, that she couldn't just hold out 2 more seconds. So that was kind of a thing that really took, I think, a lot of people out of it. But it is what it is. I mean, I know Lance Storm even commented on Twitter that if you were in an actual submission hold, the clock would not even be on your mind. You would just kind of be in the moment of just being in pain. And if you couldn't take it anymore, you would just tap. It didn't matter what time it was. But even if that is the case, perception is reality, and the crowd perceives it differently. So it seems kind of BS that, oh, she couldn't just hold out 2 seconds, where it's like, just do natural selection or something, just pin her in the final 2 seconds, and then it seems a lot more forgivable. Nevertheless, Charlotte ends up winning. Sasha got busted open pretty bad and really made for a much more dramatic ending. The blood actually really, even though it was an accident, I assume, it did really increase the intensity of how things ended. As expected, Charlotte wins to keep her pay-per-view streak going. Like I said before on the podcast and all that, I'm okay with the title hot potatoing, but when it seems very forced and it's in such a set formula, that's when it becomes a problem for me personally. Is, okay, Sasha wins on Raw, Charlotte wins on pay-per-views, and they have yet to actually deviate from that formula. And that, to me, is what's cheapening what could have otherwise been a very epic feud. There's a few other problems with this feud in general, but I think all of us are happy that match quality remained pretty high throughout this entire feud. And I think we're also happy that it seems like this is the conclusion of it. They did mention there's no rematch clause for this. I think we're done with this. I think we all want to move on from this feud. We got a lot of good things out of it, and it's time to move on. So finally, the main event, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Really good match between the two of them. But of course, we get more interference, more stuff happening. They did have a very long, good match, and then Y2J comes out, gives a code breaker to Kevin Owens. We're like, oh my god, is Kevin Owens and Jericho, are they officially not friends anymore? But of course, Jericho did this to kind of swerve everybody, but also give Kevin Owens the win, and then he picks him up after code breakers him, and they hug, and they're all friends again. This just kind of came off as a very weak ending to a championship match. And you could tell that they decided to make nice with the crowd and end the pay-per-view, try to end the pay-per-view on a higher note by basically fan service with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns power bombing everybody through tables. So that was sort of the make nice for, hey, we're sorry we ended the main event in such a crappy way, so we're gonna do this to entertain you and hope you forget about it and don't hate us. So that concluded WWE Roadblock. This was a very middle-of-the-road pay-per-view. Obviously, we had some highlights with the tag team title match and the Iron Man match. But other than that, there wasn't anything truly exceptional about this pay-per-view. It was really the definition of a B-level pay-per-view. But nevertheless, that was Roadblock. Make sure to let me know what you guys thought about Roadblock End of the Line. I hadn't even said that the whole damn video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. What was your favorite match? What could have been better for you? And don't forget that we'll be talking about Roadblock and much, much more, this Wednesday on the podcast. So look for more discussion this Wednesday on the podcast on this YouTube channel, as well as iTunes and Stitcher if you want to listen to the audio version and other podcasting platforms as well. So that's going to do it for my review. I will see you guys next time. Take care.